Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Okay.
All right. Are we live?
I think so.
Fantastic. Welcome everyone to the Digital Readers Club. I'm your host Sharon, and today we get to enjoy more of the wonderful books of Maccabees. And a quick announcement from Lisa.
Oh, yes. And right after we're done with Digital Readers Club, you can go on over to YouTube channel Hebrew Hawaiian, and you can also find it on Discord under Sacred Word Publishing. And we will have a 2-hour class with a short prayer meeting at the end. So if you have any prayer requests, you can go ahead and put that in our chat when we start Biblical Hebrew in about an hour.
Yay, thank you so much. And
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. I almost forgot.
I won't let you forget. We have normally a few minutes of fellowship, getting caught up with everybody. Then we do a reading, and then afterwards we have an amazing discussion. And thank you again, Tammy George and the other admins, for keeping an eye on the chat and encouraging and lifting up people over there.
Hey, Tammy.
So anybody have anything to say?
Well, we were just talking about the crazy weather. I can't believe it's that cold in Detroit, Brick. My goodness.
It's horrible.
Wow. I mean, it
Yeah,
cooled down.
right.
It cooled down here, actually. I was wearing a jacket last night when we went out to do some errands, but oh my goodness, 30 degrees. I get cold when it's below 70 here, so.
Well, trust me, I do too. So I'm trying to get packed up and go to get my carcass to Arizona here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm
Oh,
trying to evade
good.
this as well as anyone else.
Wow, that sounds like a good move.
Well, I do it every year, so I do half and half.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, is that is
And
that what they call a snowbird?
yes, but I'm kind of a son of both, Phoenix and Detroit. So it's like I'm just established there as I am here. Just
Wow,
that's
that's great.
That's Canadians. How's that?
Ah, okay. Oh, that's great. So you have connections in both places.
Yes.
That's awesome. How about you, Sharon? How are things in your area of the world?
Well, in Oklahoma, it did do a light dusting. In Tulsa, it snowed a bit more towards the west of Oklahoma.
Wow.
We're supposed to
Oklahoma's one of
possibly
my
get
favorite
snow.
states.
Yeah, it's awesome people here. But we should be
Yeah.
getting snow on Monday.
Monday, wow. I keep forgetting it's that time of year already. Yeah. It's
But in
almost,
Hawaii, there are a few mountains that have snow, aren't there? At the
yes,
top?
yes. There's yeah, Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa on the Big Island, so that's a different island than we're on. And also on Maui, they get it on Haleakala, but we're on Oahu, and there's unless there's going to be a crazy weather change when they talk about climate change, you know how they're actually the ones changing the climate, but you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Right.
So
Right.
so maybe, I mean, one day we could see snow here in Oahu. I don't know if it'll be real snow, but it will be something.
It always surprised me that Hawaii did have some mountains with snow because I was thinking, tropical, close to the equator. I was like, really?
Right?
What?
Yeah, yeah. On the Big Island, you could actually go surfing in the morning and then drive an hour up the mountain, and you can go skiing in the afternoon. It's
Yeah, I
See,
have a
that's
friend
what
who did it.
pretty
Arizona's
intense.
like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sort of like that. Right. I remember
The
driving
further
through
west you
Arizona.
go.
Right. Yeah. The climate changes and the altitude changes, right? Drastically.
And you have more amenities. That's a great amenity to be able to go surfing in the morning and skiing in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a beautiful island too. I mean, I think it's one of the highest mountains on Earth that because the climb that you do from sea level to 15,000 feet or so is like intense. When you in an hour, it's like it's
Yeah.
and and it's beautiful flying into there because you could see the snow-capped mountains in the winter and on Big
Yeah, my
Island.
sister just got back from there today. So maybe about an hour or two ago, she just got back from
Oh
Hawaii.
my oh my goodness. And
So
she's
she's the
and
lucky one.
yeah, so now she's has to get used to the cold weather again, huh?
Yeah, I giggle a little bit underneath my breath.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's a shock, huh?
Where in Arizona are you headed, Britt?
Just outside of Phoenix,
Mm.
I'm in between like Scottsdale and Fountain Hills.
All right, because I'm a
So
good
I'm on.
friend in Red Rock.
Oh, okay, yeah, north
Hmm.
or north. Oh, where's that? Red Rock. It's where the Grateful Dead play.
Oh.
Over by there, right?
No idea about the Grateful
I
Dead.
think I think that one's they have a Red Rock, theater in right outside of Denver. Maybe that's what
Yeah,
you're thinking.
Denver. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking. It's been a
yeah,
long
there's like
couple of weeks.
no, it's a beautiful amphitheater, natural. It's all natural, it's gorgeous.
Did I
But
just date myself with Grateful Dead? I don't know.
Uh, I
Clark
haven't seen the
made it.
Grateful Dead there. Oh, hey, Clark. Clark is here. Yeah, I never did see the Grateful Dead in concert, but yeah, I think Zen might have actually. He was talking about that on a show kind of a while ago when he was younger.
That's interesting.
But yeah, that's another beautiful area is the Rockies right by Denver area. So nice, Boulder. We were just there in
Well,
May.
oh, you were?
Yeah, my grandpa built cabins up in the Rockies right outside of Boulder when he was a pastor there, and he used it as like a
Okay.
youth retreat. He used it like a youth retreat for his youth groups, and
Oh, wow.
then we inherited it. So kind of nice
Oh,
once in a while.
up by what is it, Leadville? And, and
Sugarloaf. I don't kind of
yeah,
Sugarloaf
Sugarloaf.
area. Yeah, it's right there. It's right by. You could see Sugarloaf from the cabins.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area, but the altitude gets me every time, because we'll fly into Denver and immediately, coming from sea level to 5,000 something feet and then driving another 2,000 feet up into the mountains is pretty harsh.
You get the bends.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah,
bends and it feels so well.
yeah. Just kind of need to relax and rest because it feels like we have a hard time breathing all of a sudden.
Oh yeah,
Altitude.
and you do. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's it's like when they have the teeners there. All the 14,000 foot climbs, and a lot of people don't acclimate before they go on their hike, and you're pulling a lot of people off the mountain sometimes, and because you
yeah,
have to let yourself adapt to that mile first, and then go hike.
right. Exactly. You don't want to exert yourself during the first week you're there, I think. Just have to kind of
Hey
Exactly.
relax.
guys, can you hear me?
So, Clark, are you having some issues?
Yeah, how can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
I
hear
can hear
you.
you clear.
Good, good. We'll leave it like that.
Okay.
All right, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys. Rick,
So,
did you get my messages, brother? Check.
No, I haven't gotten anything.
I'll message you again right after the show here on
Okay.
personal
Yeah,
message. You scroll up to the top or on the left side where it has the icon.
okay.
Later, not now, bro.
Okay.
no,
I'm all command oriented. You tell me to do something, I just go do it. It just makes it
no.
easy.
It'll make. Sorry.
that's okay. We're glad to have you here, Clark. So, we're going to start reading today Maccabees 11, chapter 11. And before we start, would someone like to pray us in?
Yeah, I can do that.
And can you please include Brother Justin? He's been feeling a bit lightheaded.
Sure.
Thank you, Clark.
Mm. Father, we're mindful that there's so many anxieties that we face individually and infirmities. We just cast them all at your feet, Father, all of our anxieties and our ill feelings and our infirmities and not feeling well. And we just pray, Father, that you would let us feel your presence and let us feel how good you are and open our ears and our eyes and calm our anxieties and help us to listen to what it is you would have us hear today. Thank you for this time. We lift up everyone, Father, in earshot, and whose hearts and minds are with us, that you would be with them and bring them close to you. Let them feel and see you evermore and heal them. In the name of Yeshua. Amen.
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 Rick, would you like to start us off with the reading?
I sure will. All right, Maccabees 11. And the king of Egypt gathered together a great host, like the sand that lieth upon the seashore, and many ships, and went out about through deceit to get Alexander's kingdom and join it to his own. Whereupon he took his journey into Spain in peaceable manner. So as they of the cities opened unto him and met him, for King Alexander had commanded them so to do, because he was his brother in law. Now, as Ptolemy entered into the cities, he set in every one of them a garrison of soldiers to keep it. And when he came near to Azotus, they, they showed him the temple of Dagon that was burnt, and Azotus and the suburbs thereof that were destroyed, and the bodies that were cast aboard, and them that he hath burnt in the battle, for they had made heaps of them by the way where he should pass. Also they told the king whatsoever Jonathan had done, to the intent he might blame him. But the king held his peace. Then Jonathan met the king with great pomp at Joppa, where they saluted one another and lodged. Afterwards, Jonathan, when he had gone with the king to the river called Eleuthras, right? I don't know. Again, returned again to Jerusalem. King Ptolemy, therefore, having gotten the dominion of the cities by the sea to Seleucus upon the sea coast, imagined wicked counsels against Alexander. Whereupon he sent ambassadors unto King Demetrius, saying, Come, let us make a league betwixt us, and I will give thee my daughter, whom Alexander hath, and thou shalt reign in thy father's kingdom. For I repent that I gave my daughter unto him, for he sought to slay me. Thus did he slander him, because he was desirous of his kingdom. Wherefore he took his daughter from him and gave her to Demetrius, and forsook Alexander, so that their hatred was openly known. Then Ptolemy entered into Antioch, where he set two crowns upon his head, the crown of Asia and of Egypt. In the mean season was King Alexander in Silka, because those that dwelt in those parts had revolted from him. But when Alexander heard of this, he came to war against him. Whereupon King Ptolemy brought forth his host and met him with a mighty power and put him to flight. So Alexander fled into Arabia, there to be defended, but King Ptolemy was exalted. Pass.
For Zabdiel the Arabian took off Alexander's head and sent it unto Ptolemy. King Ptolemy also died the third day after, and they that were in the strongholds were slain one of another. By this means Demetrius reigned in the 167th year. At the same time, Jonathan gathered together them that were in Judea to take the tower that was in Jerusalem, and he made many engines of war against it. Then came ungodly persons, who hated their own people, went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. Whereof, when he heard, he was angry, and immediately removing, he came to Ptolemais, and wrote unto Jonathan that he should not lay siege to the tower, but come and speak with him at Ptolemais in great haste. Nevertheless, Jonathan, when he heard this, commanded to besiege it still. And he chose certain of the elders of Israel and the priests, and put himself in peril, and took silver and gold and raiment, and divers presents besides, and went to Ptolemais unto the king, where he found favor in his sight. And though certain ungodly men of the people had made complaints against him, yet the king entreated him as his predecessors had done before, and promoted him in the sight of all his friends, and confirmed him in the high priesthood, and in all the honors that he had before, and gave him preeminence among his chief friends. And Jonathan desired the king that he would make Judea free from tribute. So also the three governments with the country of Samaria, and he promised him 300 talents. So the king consented, and wrote letters unto Jonathan of all these things after this manner. King Demetrius unto his brother Jonathan, and unto the nation of the Jews sendeth greeting. We send you here a copy of the letter, which we did write unto our cousin Lasthenes, concerning you, that ye might see it. King Demetrius unto his father Lasthenes sendeth greeting. We are determined to do good to the people of the Jews, who are our friends, and keep covenant with us, besides of their good will toward us. Wherefore we have ratified unto them the borders of Judea with the three governments of Ephraim and Lydda and Ramathaim, that are added unto Judea from the country of Samaria, and all things appertaining unto them, for all such as do sacrifice in Jerusalem, instead of the payments which the king received of them yearly aforetime, out of the fruits of the earth and trees. And as for other things that belong unto us, of the tithes and customs pertaining unto us, so also the salt pits, and the crown taxes, which are due unto us, we discharge them of them for all their relief, and nothing hereof shall be revoked from this time forth forever. Now, therefore, see that thou make a copy of these things, and let it be delivered unto Jonathan, and set upon the holy mount in a conspicuous place. After this, when King Demetrius saw that the land was quiet before him, and that no resistance was made against him, he sent away all his forces, every one to his own place, except certain bands of strangers, whom he had gathered from the isles of the heathen. Wherefore all the forces of his father hated him. Moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been of Alexander's part afore, who, seeing that all the host murmured against Demetrius, went to Symacu, the Arabian, that brought up Antiochus, the young son of Alexander, and lay sore upon him to deliver him, this young Antiochus, that he might reign in his father's stead. He told him, therefore, all that Demetrius had done, and how his men of war were at enmity with him, and there he remained a long season. Pass.
In the meantime, Jonathan sent unto the king Demetrius that he would cast those of the tower out of Jerusalem, and those also in the fortresses. They fought against Israel. So Demetrius sent unto Jonathan, saying, I will not only do this for thee and thy people, but I will greatly honor thee and thy nation, if opportunity serve. Now therefore thou shalt do well if thou send me men to help me, for all my forces are gone from me. Upon this Jonathan sent him 3,000 strong men unto Antioch. And when they came to the king was very glad of their coming. Howbeit they that were of the city gathered themselves together into the midst of the city, to the number of 120,000 men, and would have slain the king. Wherefore the king fled into the court, but they of the city kept the passages of the city, and began to fight. Then the king called to the Jews for help, who came unto him all at once, and dispersing themselves through the city, slew that day in the city to the number of 100,000. Also they set fire on the city, and gat many spoils that day, and delivered the king. So when they of the city saw that the Jews had got the city as they would, their courage was abated. Wherefore they made supplication to the king, and cried, saying, Grant us peace, and let the Jews cease from assaulting us and the city. With that they cast away their weapons, and made peace. And the Jews were honored in the sight of the king, and in the sight of all that were in his realm, and they returned to Jerusalem, having great spoils. So King Demetrius sat on the throne of his kingdom, and the land was quiet before him. Nevertheless he dissembled in all that ever he spake, and estranged himself from Jonathan. Neither rewarded he him according to the benefits which he had received of him, but troubled him very sore. After this returned Tryphon, and with him the young child Antiochus, who reigned and was crowned. Then there gathered unto him all the men of war, whom Demetrius had put away, and they fought against Demetrius, who turned his back and fled. Moreover, Tryphon took the elephants and won Antioch. At that time young Antiochus wrote unto Jonathan, saying, I confirm thee in the high priesthood, and appoint thee ruler over the 4 governments, and to be one of the king's friends. Upon this he sent him golden vessels and to be served in, and gave him leave to drink in gold, and to be clothed in purple, and to wear a golden buckle. His brother Simon also he made captain from the place called the Ladder of Tyrus, unto the borders of Egypt. Then Jonathan went forth, and passed through the cities beyond the water, and all the forces of Syria gathered themselves unto him for to help him. And when he came to Ascalon, they of the city met him honorably. From whence he went to Gaza, but they of Gaza shut him out. Wherefore he laid siege unto it, and burned the suburbs thereof with fire, and spoiled them. Afterward, when they of Gaza made supplication unto Jonathan, he made peace with them, and took the sons of their chief men for hostages, and sent them to Jerusalem, and passed through the country unto Damascus. Now, when Jonathan heard that Demetrius' princes were come to Cades, which is in Galilee, with a great power, purposing to remove him out of the country, he went to meet them, and left Simon his brother in the country. Then Simon encamped against Bethsura, and fought against it a long season, and shut it up. But they desired to have peace with him, which he granted them, and then put them out from thence, and took the city, and set a garrison in it. As for Jonathan and his hosts, they pitched at the water of Gennesaret, from whence betimes in the morning they gat them to the plain of Nasor. And behold, the host of strangers met them in the plain, who, having laid men in ambush for him in the mountains, came themselves over against him. So when they that lay in ambush rose out of their places and joined battle, all that were of Jonathan's side fled. Insomuch as there was not one of them left except Matthias, the son of Absalom, and Judas, the son of Chiphi, the captains of the host. Then Jonathan rent his clothes and cast earth upon his head and prayed. Afterwards, turning again to battle, he put them to flight, and so they ran away. Now, when his own men that were fled saw this, they turned again unto him, and with him pursued them to Cades, even unto their own tents, and there they camped. So there were slain of the heathen that day about 3,000 men. But Jonathan returned to Jerusalem. Pass.
Maccabees 12. Now when Jonathan saw that time served him, he chose certain men and sent them to Rome, for to confirm and renew the friendship that they had with them. He sent letters also to the Lacedaemonians and to other places for the same purpose. So they went unto Rome and entered into the Senate and said, Jonathan the high priest and the people of the Jews sent us unto you, to the end ye should renew the friendship which ye had with them, and league as in former time. Upon this the Romans gave them letters unto the governors of every place, that they should bring them into the land of Judea peaceably. And this is the copy of the letters which Jonathan wrote to the Lacedaemonians. Jonathan the high priest and the elders of the nation, and the priests and the other of the Jews, unto the Lacedaemonians, their brethren, send greeting. There were letters sent in times past unto Onias the high priest from Darius, who reigned then among you, to signify that ye are brethren, as the copy here underwritten doth specify. At which time Onias entreated the ambassador that was sent honorably, and received the letters, wherein declaration was made of the league and friendship. Therefore we also, albeit we need none of these things, that we have the holy books of Scripture in our hands to comfort us, have nevertheless attempted to send unto you for the renewing of brotherhood and friendship. We should become strangers unto you altogether. For there is a long time past since she sent unto us. We therefore at all times without ceasing, both in our feasts and other convenient days, do remember you in the sacrifices which we offer, and in our prayers, as reason is, and as it becometh us to think upon our brethren. And we are right glad of your honor. As for ourselves, we have had great troubles and wars on every side, for so much as the kings that are around about us have fought against us. Howbeit, we would not be troublesome unto you, nor to others of our confederates and friends in these wars. For we have help from heaven that secureth us. So as we are delivered from our enemies, and our enemies are brought under foot. For this cause we choose Numenius, the son of Antiochus, and Antipater, he son of Jason, and sent them unto the Romans, to renew the enmity that we had with them, and the former league. We commanded them also to go unto you, and to salute and to deliver you our letters concerning the renewing of our brotherhood. Wherefore now ye shall do well to give us an answer thereto. And this is the copy of the letters which Oneris sent. Arius, king of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias the high priest, greeting. It is found in writing that the Lacedaemonians and Jews are brethren, and that they are the stock of Abraham. Now therefore, since this is come to our knowledge, ye shall do well to write unto us of your prosperity. We do write back again to you, that your cattle and goods are ours, and ours are yours. We do command, therefore, our ambassadors to make report unto you on this wise. Now when Jonathan heard that the Maccabees princes were come to fight against him with a greater host than afore, he removed from Israel and met them in the land of Amathus, for he gave them no respite to enter his country. He sent spies also unto their tents, who came again and told him that they were appointed to come upon them in the night season. Pass.
Wherefore,
Greg?
yeah, I guess I'll take over.
Yeah.
Wherefore, so soon as the sun was down, Jonathan commanded his men to watch and to be in arms, that all the night long they may be ready to fight. Also, he sent for sentinels round about the host. But when the adversaries heard that Jonathan and his men were all ready for battle, they feared and trembled in their hearts, and they kindled fires in their camp. Howbeit Jonathan and his company knew it not till the morning, for they saw the lights burning. Then Jonathan pursued after them, but overtook them not, for they were gone over the river. Left. I'm going to leave that up to interpretation. Wherefore Jonathan turned to the Arabians who were called Zebudeans, and smote them, and took their spoils. And removing thence, he came to sorry guys, Damascus, and so passed through all the country. Simon also went forth and passed through the country unto Es- Es- Escalon and the holds that adjoining, from whence he turned aside to Joppa, and won it. For he had heard that they would deliver the hold unto them that took Demetrius apart. Wherefore he set a garrison there to keep it. After this came Jonathan home again, and calling the elders of the people together, he consulted with them about building strongholds in Judea, and making the walls of Jerusalem higher, raising a great mount between the tower and the city, for to spread it from the city, that so it may be alone, that men might neither sell nor buy in it. Upon this they came together to build up the city, forasmuch as part of the wall towards the brook on the east side was fallen down, and they repaired that which was called Caphathina. Yeah. Simon also set up Ada in Cephala, and made it strong with gates and bars. Now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and to kill Antiochus the king, that he might set the crown upon his own head. Howbeit he was afraid that Jonathan would not suffer him, and that he would fight against him. Wherefore he sought a way how to take Jonathan, that he might kill him. So he removed and came to Basan. Then Jonathan went out to meet him with 40,000 men chosen for the battle, and came to Bashan. Now When Typhon saw Jonathan come with so great a force, he durst not stretch his hand against him, but received him honorably, and commanded him unto all his friends, and gave him gifts, and commanded his men of war to be as I'm sorry, guys, be as obedient unto him as to himself. Unto Jonathan also he said, why hast thou brought all these people to so great trouble, seeing this there is no war betwixt us? Therefore sent them now home again, and chose a few men to wait on thee. And come thou with me to Ptolemais, for I will give it thee and the rest of the strongholds and forces and all that have any charge. For as for me, I will return and depart, for this is the cause of my coming pass.
So Jonathan, believing him, did as he bade him, and sent away his host, who went into the land of Judea. And with himself he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 into Galilee, and 1,000 went with him. Now, as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, they of Ptolemais shut the gates and took him, and all them that came with him they slew with the sword. Then sent Tryphon an host of footmen and horsemen into Galilee and into the great plain to destroy all Jonathan's company. But when they knew that Jonathan and they that were with him were taken and slain, they encouraged one another and went close together, prepared to fight. They therefore that followed upon them, perceiving that they were ready to fight for their lives, turned back again, whereupon they all came into the land of Judea peaceably. And there they bewailed Jonathan and them that were with him. And they were sore afraid, wherefore all Israel made great lamentation. Then all the heathen that were round about then sought to destroy them. For said they have no captain, nor any to help them. Now therefore let us make war upon them, and take away their memorial from among men. Chapter 13. Now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, and saw that the people was in great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem, and gathered the people together, and gave them exhortation, saying, Ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house have done for the laws and the sanctuary, the battles also, and troubles which we have seen, by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake, and I am left alone. Now therefore, be it far from me that I should spare mine own life in any time of trouble, for I am no better than my brethren. Doubtless, I will avenge my nation, and the sanctuary, and our wives, and our children, for all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice. Now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived, and they answered with a loud voice, saying, Thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas, and Jonathan thy brother. Fight thou our battles, and whatsoever thou commandest us, that we will do. So then he gathered together all the men of war, and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem, and he fortified it round about. Also he sent Jonathan, the son of Absalom, and with him a great power to Joppa, who, casting out them that were therein, remained there in it. So Tryphon removed from Ptolemais with a great power to invade the land of Judea, and Jonathan was with him in ward. But Simon pitched his tents against Adida, over against the plain. And when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, and meant to join battle with him, he sent messengers unto him, saying, Whereas we have Jonathan thy brother in hold, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure concerning the business that was committed unto him. Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver, and 2 of his sons for hostages, that when he is at liberty he may not revolt from us, and we will let him go. Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him, yet sent he the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people, who might have said, Because I sent him not the money and the children, therefore is Jonathan dead. So he sent them the children and the 100 talents, howbeit Tryphon dissembled neither would he let Jonathan go. And after this came Tryphon to invade the land and destroy it, going round about by the way that leadeth unto Adora. Simon and his host marched against him in every place, wheresoever he went. Now they that were in the tower sent messengers unto Tryphon, to the end that he should hasten his coming unto them by the wilderness, and send them victuals. Wherefore Tryphon made ready all his horsemen to come that night, but there fell a very great snow, by reason whereof he came not. So he departed, and came into the country of Galaad. And when he came near to Bascama, he slew Jonathan, who was buried there. Afterward Tryphon returned, and went into his own land. Then sent Simon, and took the bones of Jonathan his brother, and buried them in Modin, the city of his fathers. And all Israel made great lamentation for him, and bewailed him many days. Simon also built a monument upon the sepulchre of his father and his brethren, and raised it aloft to the sight with hewn stone behind and before. Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father and his mother and his 4 children. And in these he made cunning devices, about the which he set great pillars, and upon the pillars he made all their armor for a perpetual memory. And by the armor ships carved, that they might be seen of all that sail on the sea. This is the sepulchre which he made at Modin, and it standeth yet unto this day. Now Tryphon dealt deceitfully with the young king Antiochus, and slew him. And he reigned in his stead, and crowned himself king of Asia, and brought a great calamity upon the land. Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea, and fenced them about with high towers, and great walls, and gates, and bars, and laid up victuals therein. Moreover, Simon chose men, and sent to King Demetrius to the end he should give the land an immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil. Pass, I know, we're in.
No, the YouTube seems to have cut off. Hello? Clark?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, YouTube, the live feed seems to have cut off.
Oh, wow. Okay. Should we stop here then? Or do you want to finish the chapter?
Well, we should actually, on the Digital Readers Club, mine only went up to the end of 12.
Oh,
So
really?
we're good.
Oh,
Yeah, so did mine.
I was reading the book, so I was just going along with Clark.
Yeah, so was
I
I.
know
I'm
Clark
sorry.
gets on a roll, man.
Sorry, brother. You know,
No,
No,
it was
I
exciting.
love
I
it.
was
You made it,
enjoying it. It was good.
yeah,
I was
you
like,
made it
Okay.
really exciting there.
yeah.
It does.
Well, I looked on the website and it didn't have the reading up, so I was just looking at the time. I know we were right there on time, so
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's too bad about YouTube, but we could still talk about it if you guys want to.
Sure. Yeah, tell me Talk to me. What do you guys think?
I like the part about the pyramids. I'm trying to imagine that because this is like in modern day Israel, right? Somewhere. But somewhere it was still left until that day where it was talking about he made those 7 pyramids and against each other, and he put like pillars, and on the pillars he put the armor. Was that in was that supposed to be in like what we call Israel today? Somewhere?
That's a really good question. And that
I'm
piqued
just
my
trying to
interest too.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture where that would be because it was still up at the day that, whoever translated this to English says it was still up there to this day. I'm just trying to figure out where that would be. And then it says something about the king of Asia. So I was like, well, maybe that's not in Israel. Maybe it's further east somewhere.
It's interesting because verse 29 said, and in the pyramids he made cunning devices. So all of this stuff
Yeah,
is inside the pyramids,
right, right. And I'm trying to imagine how would that be seen of all that sail on the sea if it's
right?
inside. I wonder if
It's
it was some kind of tech that we don't know about.
or
Yeah.
yeah, or they, pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah,
Well, when it comes to stuff like that, the crazier it sounds, the more I believe it.
yeah.
You know, I
Right?
mean, yeah, it just seems to be like the narrative these days.
Yeah, I'm trying to like in verse 29 that Clark just read, and by the armor ships carved that they might be seen of all that sail on the sea. I'm just like, how does that work? But it has to be some type of tech, maybe like a hologram of a ship above the pyramid or something really high. I don't know. But
Oh,
it's cool.
Yeah,
well, that's
whatever
interesting.
a cunning device is, right?
Yeah, yeah, it has to be something that they couldn't explain any other way with language we'd understand now in English, right?
Well, like
Yeah.
last week,
Well,
they used engines of war.
Right.
So that's wide
Yeah.
for interpretation as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty
I
pretty cool stuff. It's great reading, really.
yeah. I
It's
had
lovely.
one other thing I wanted to ask if any of you guys knew, because when we read about Alexander in chapter 11,
Mhm.
Alexander got beheaded. He fled into Arabia. He got beheaded. This isn't like Alexander the Great, is it? Do you think? Or is it?
That's what I was
Um,
wondering.
Good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh,
And I've asked 3 separate people outside of the group here today. Do you think? Because I read that little bit and I was like, do you guys think that this is Alexander the Great?
Yeah, I asked Noble when I think it was when Sharon was reading because we got past the part of Alexander, and he said no, I think wasn't Alexander poisoned or something. He wasn't beheaded, but I thought maybe he was poisoned and then beheaded. I don't know.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't recall him being beheaded, but I
Yeah,
don't know. But it does set in question a lot of timelines that we're told, right?
right, right.
It makes us question it.
It's hard to picture where all of this is happening because a lot of the names have changed. I mean, there's some that
And,
are really similar in Israel now, but a lot of the names have totally changed. So
yeah, and a lot's happening. A lot of
yeah,
back and forth, a lot of deceit. And even the name Judas, I thought was real funny. Maccabees, they revere Judas, right? But
yeah,
what have we been raised? Boo,
yeah,
Judas
yeah,
Iscariot, right? Isn't it just awful that Judas Iscariot was probably named after him? Who knows?
yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
I don't,
agree.
maybe his parents were like, "Yeah, name him Judas."
Well, then there's also Judas, the brother of Yeshua, right? I mean,
Right.
stepbrother. That they Judas and James in English anyway. Judas and James. They were like two of the church leaders that only believed in Yeshua after he was resurrected. I think is
Right.
how it goes. But
Right.
a lot of very similar names in here too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent,
Great
excellent
reading.
reading though. Yeah, good reading, guys.
And
Sorry,
it
the
Well,
sounds
you
YouTube cut out.
guys, I just muddled through it, man.
No, the names are tough. Brick, you did a good job sounding all those out. There was a
yeah,
lot
you
of names.
did.
Most times you read,
Yeah.
you got like all the names. I think, Brick.
Yeah,
Uh, th-
I just pick a pronunciation and stick with it, right or wrong.
Well, Sharon, it's like when you start having trouble, I get the jitters, because I'm like, oh, come on, Sharon, come on, we could do this.
Oh
Well,
my
it
goodness.
seems like YouTube is doing some weird stuff. Some people are showing the show still on. On
Oh,
my
okay.
other app, it is not. In fact, I have the
Huh.
Wheel of Torture. So some people, the video has stopped, but they're hearing us.
Huh.
Well,
So it's
Okay.
good.
very
Okay.
Hi,
interesting.
everybody.
Hey, Tammy. I bet Tammy's in there going, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, she's saying it's a free for all.
It's a free for all. I know.
Well. Here's
Pat,
a good takeaway, right?
Patrick
Chapter.
Lewis said
Oh,
something. He is his son ruled in the Grand Canyon? Question mark. I'm not sure if that was pertaining to the
hmm.
discussion.
Maybe for Alexander or something. Clark, what were you going to say?
Oh, um, this chapter 12, verse 9.
Okay.
I think it's a good takeaway. It says, therefore we also, albeit we need none of these things, that we have the holy books of Scripture in our hands to comfort us. I like that verse.
I do too.
That
Yeah.
is nice. That is a good one. Yeah, as far as the Grand Canyon goes, I know that, I mean, there's huge amounts of evidence that that was an ancient city and, statues and all kinds of stuff in there that were melted. I don't know if you guys have studied that, but
Yeah, a
it's
little bit.
total melted buildings in there. But I'm not sure. I mean, it would make sense that, if these Roman rulers, they're still ruling today, basically, their offspring, that they would have ruled areas that are not specifically mentioned in the Bible, which would include what we call the United States, right? So it's totally possible with the one in Egypt. I mean,
Oh,
Egypt.
absolutely.
Grand
I
Canyon.
mean, they've got the cave there. There's the cave, and that's filled up with relics. And there's an abundance of gold out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, I mean, it's got Anunnaki written all over it. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
Oh, gold, we're there. Okay. You
yeah, and
know?
there's even like a sphinx there that you could see carved into the rock that is like another sphinx that mimics the one in Egypt. So
Yes.
there's a ton of evidence that that was once a
And it's
thriving
funny
city.
because I grew up, like my great uncles, they knew they were back in the day when, they get whispers of all this. So I kind of knew a lot of the cave. I knew all that the lore growing up.
Yeah.
So it was always funny
Wow.
that people are like now discovering it. And it's like, God, I've known that for 50 years.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Welcome. So
Yeah,
it's just, it's kind of interesting.
yeah, that's it. That is interesting. I like it
Missing,
how. Oh no, go ahead, Sharon. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm missing Zen take on all this stuff.
I know. When I when I saw the name Alexander, it reminded me of the Book of the Bee. I don't know if you guys have read that at all, where one of the
Mhm.
chapters describes Alexander requesting to the Most High to lock up all of these these half hybrid creatures and giants and everything because they were just overpowering the whole land. And then they're locked away in the north. There's like this huge pyramid-like rock, I think that the Book of the Bee describes as covering this entrance, so they cannot be released until, how it says in prophecy that they'll be coming from the north, Gog and Magog. I'm guessing that could be those same people. I'm not sure. You guys read that before, Clark?
No.
Yeah, I have. I haven't spent much time in it. I think it's very interesting. I do like it, but at the moment I don't recall much of it. It's
Okay,
been a
yeah.
while since I read it.
Yeah, that one really stuck out for me, that story, because that would make sense because they talk about them coming from the north, and if they're locked somewhere around the North Pole area, that because there's so much evidence of these like dog men. I don't know if you
Oh yeah.
guys have seen Saint Christopher with the dog
Yeah.
head, and
Hmm.
and then
Oh, yeah.
and the lion men of Moab is even mentioned.
Moab, yeah.
Like Gary Wayne talks about a lot of this stuff. But the Book of the Bee kind of solidifies it that, oh yeah, there were all these hybrid creatures before and they're gone now because they're at the north. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Hyperborea and all that kind of, I mean, if there is more land, I mean, that's where they're at. They're up and outside of our ring.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also it's interesting because when Rome was fighting the giants in England, that's where cut off at the knees comes from,
Mm.
because the Roman soldiers, that's about as far as they could hit on the giants was at the knees.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Good.
Mm.
So there's a little gumball theory for you, or trivia. I
Gumball theory.
contributed.
I like that.
Well, I think it's it's interesting how much of the earth is considered off limits, right? Even
Oh,
the Grand
yeah.
Canyon is like over 80% is off limits. Of course, it's for our safety. But
Right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
yeah, yeah. So it is,
It's got the uncrossable red danger tape, Clark, so you can't go into the area.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign out now. We
Yeah.
have to reset our Wi-Fi, but it's been an awesome read with you guys, and we'll see you in a few minutes over if you want to join us
Okay.
on our channel, Hebrew Hawaiian. And it's been a blessing reading with all you guys today.
Right on.
Yes, it has
Thank you
been.
so
Have a
much.
blessed teaching.
Shalom.
Thank you,
Shaloha.
Sharon. Shaloha.
Aloha. Well, since there are people who can still hear us, would Clark, I always rely on
Sure,
you.
I close this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Save us.
No. Father, we're grateful for everything, for our time together, our time being together and spending together, and we know, Father, that you are good, and your word is even better. Thank you for this time, and that's just it. We have thankful hearts, and we look forward to meeting again, and pray you'd gather us all together again. We pray for the health of the whole Garcia family and everybody listening, everybody in chat, and everybody who will listen for time to come. And we just pray your blessing and your protection upon all of us as we go forward to share your word and light and life, your coming kingdom. In your only begotten Son, Yahushua's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And
You're
everyone,
welcome.
thank you
Thank
for
you,
joining
Sharon.
us.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you,
hosting.
Sharon.
I'm,
Hey,
I'm,
hey,
so,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know how when you kept reading, but I was like, it was left on such a cliffhanger. I was making a note of where you were going to stop.
I was watching the clock.
I figured you were,
Yeah.
but I love your reading. I can listen to you read like
Okay.
indefinitely.
Great. Well, I love being here, and it's just it's a blessing. It's a family, and I'm honored and blessed, and love every one of you.
Great.
Glad you're here with me. So,
Yeah.
Rick, hang out. Let's chat for a few.
Yeah, right on, man. I'm in.
All right.
I'll leave you
I'm
both
in.
then.
Right on. Well, you go and enjoy Oklahoma, Sharon.
And you warm up in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Detroit right now, so I got about 2 weeks, and then I'm out.
Oh,
So I'll be
okay.
driving through your state. So probably stop and get some buffalo burgers or bison or whatever they have in there. I usually stop. So
Well, be
on the way
blessed.
Okay.
down.
Chris.
Right on.
All right, I'll leave you boys to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Many truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity, but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures.